This is Umar from the Fight Wise, proudly sponsored by Gold Star Promotions. First time I've got Spencer Oliver on the channel, so it's a really proud day for me, mate.
Umar, how are you doing, mate? Good to have you back, actually. I've missed you a little bit on the circuit over the last couple of months or so. So, yeah, good to have you back, mate. Good to see you doing really well. And, yeah, looking forward to the interview.
You're the first person who said that, so that they missed me, so I'll take that.
Oh, listen, I do miss you, mate. You look like life and soul of the party. Do you know what? Boxing's all about characters, right? You know, inside the ring and outside of the ring. Do you know, like boxing attracts a certain person. You're one of them people. Do you know what I mean? You got a big character, mate.
Likewise, coming from yourself. Spen, a huge clash here, really. We've waited a long time for it, rescheduled, obviously. And there's needle this time. You can feel it.
Absolutely. Listen, there's South London bragging rights on the line here. People don't recognise what that is, how big that is. But you know what South London bragging rights is? It's like, it's a fight that they will both be remembered for. It's a legacy fight for these two. And that creates a lot of pressure going in, do you know what I mean? When you look at where they both come from, the backgrounds, you know, they're like old gym mates, old sparring partners. Joshua Buatsi, was like a mentor really to Dan Azeez in many ways. Dan Azeez had to go to every single promoter to try and get a deal. They all turned him down, do you know what I mean? He was boxing on small hall shows, done it the hard way, like English, British, Commonwealth, European, do you know what I mean? Like, done it the hard way on the road in the other guy's backyard, but he fed off that. He said that gave him like fuel, do you know what I mean? That created him, moulded him as a fighter. Joshua Buatsi on the flip side is the guy that, you know, was the golden boy in many ways, you know what I mean? Had the 2016 Olympics, got a bronze medal there, and, you know, there was big things touted of him. You think where their careers were, they were like absolutely miles apart. Now all of a sudden, as the fight is happening on Saturday night, you look at it and you weigh it up and you go, look at the momentum that Azeez has built up, and sort of how it's been a little bit stop-start in many ways for Joshua Buatsi. And the performance against Stepian last time out was a little bit flat. And you look at it and you go, it's a real 50-50 fight, this. Going into this one, and you speak to Dan Azeez and he goes, I know what I'm going into it. I know like that Joshua Buatsi's looking at me and going, we both know what happens in sparring. You know that you know that I'm your man. Do you know what I mean? You know that I've got your number. And he goes, I feed off that. He goes, so what's going to happen when I'm still there in rounds 10, 11, 12? Do you know what I mean? It's like, so it's a psychological side of it that kicks in then. It's a fascinating fight, man. It really is. It's like an old school fight, really, in many, many ways. You know what I mean? Where like sort of the best is fighting the best, and they're putting it all on the line with what's on the line as well for the winner, the potential out there. Do you know what I mean? With Bivol Beterbiev, the winner of that, possibly for the undisputed, Anthony Yarde's in the mix as well. Huge amounts for the winner on the line here, and for the loser, look, it's not over, but it's a rebuilding process, you know, and it's one that they both don't want to go through.
If you think back to Groves and De Gale, it's got a little bit of a similar feel. Maybe not as big. Groves, De Gale was massive. This is still a big fight this Saturday, and it's got a bit of that feel to it.
Do you know what it is, Umar, is that because they're both such nice guys, like we know, like in the boxing world, like you know, like in the trade, you know what a great fight this is. This is like I say, like it's like a throwback old school fight. Do you know what I mean? We know what we're going to get. This is like a potential fight of the year contender. But it's not captured the imagination of the public enough because they're both really nice guys. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we live in a world of showmanship where, you know, people sell themselves, social media, all of that. These two guys don't do that. They just leave it all in the ring, and they both know what's on the line. So, if you know, and you know this is, like, an unbelievable fight. Unfortunately, for the casual fan, they won't know what a good fight this is until it's happened. But listen, this is going to be a memorable fight, and a fight that we could see again. You know, if it goes down to the wire, it's a fight that we could possibly see again, because it's one of those where you go, Buatsi, if you had to put your house somewhere or put your money somewhere, you'd have to go Buatsi just on like his pedigree, where he's come from, and everything else. But you look at recent form and you go, Dan Azeez, man, has caught him up, and you go, it's one of those. It's who turns up on the night, like how the pressure affects the other one more than the other. Like there's a number of little factors in there, but it's like, how you deal with the pressure, should I say, on the night. And that could be the difference between winning and losing with these two.
Yeah, look forward to it live on Sky Sports this Saturday. Just away from this, want to get your thoughts on the 5v5. Frank Warren v Eddie Hearn, Queensbury v Matchroom. Some brilliant matchups could be made. in that for a card in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Off the top of your head, got a couple. Obviously, Fury Joshua is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, first of all, the 5v5 is something that I absolutely love. Do you know what I mean? Seeing promoter working with promoter so that we get the politics taken out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, different broadcasters, pay-per-view cuts and all the rest of it. We're in a changing of the times. Turkey Al Sheikh has obviously been a big part of that. The investment with Saudi Arabia and all that. But the fans are getting what they want, and that's the best versus the best. And like you say, like, imagine that Joshua versus Fury, you go...
Mind you, I don't think that will happen. I think the 5v5, potentially Yard Callum Smith will be the main event.
Absolutely, yeah. You're talking like your Yard Smiths and stuff like that. Listen, off the top of my head, who do I pick? Those 5 versus 5, I don't know. But if you look at the stables of both guys, you're going to get some great fights made there, and they will put the best versus the best. So look, we know it's happening. And I think that is the most important thing, which is great news for boxing fans. I'm a boxing fan, and like, I'm just thinking to myself, you know what? I just love the way that now all this bullshit politics and whatnot has been put aside, and we're starting to see promoters working with different promoters and all that. It's a great thing.
You've been around the sport for a while, Spencer, and you obviously know Frank Warren very well. You know Eddie Hearn very well. Just like I'm looking at it, and it's brilliant. But it is very weird to see it happening. Do you get that as well? It's very strange, isn't it?
It's the weirdest thing ever, because we know what the boxing world's all about, and the boxing world's, you know, promoters feed off just like, you know what I mean, like fucking each other in many ways, as in like, I've taken that fighter and this has happened, that's happened, I've got this broadcast, I've got that pay-per-view. That's what promoters do. There's always that bitching involved with...
Especially those two.
Absolutely, with those two. And would you have ever thought you'd ever see them sitting side by side, virtually hand in hand, smiling at Turkey Al Sheikh going, yep, we're doing business together. It's like, listen, not in my lifetime. I never thought I'd see it happen, but I'm glad it has. You know, I'm really glad that it has, because I think that they're two great promoters, and I think if they do work together, listen, boxing benefits. And I think that that's the most important thing.
After 13 years, it's about time, really. Probably that rivalry was going on and stems back from Barry and Frank, obviously, even further. Spencer, appreciate your time on the Fight Wire, and I'll see you tomorrow at the press conference.
Looking forward to it, Umar. Cheers, mate.